Hello, 3rd and 4th grade. I hope you had a great weekend and got outside to enjoy the nice weather for a little bit. This week I have a little bit of a silly project for you. This week we're going to be doing something called silly sandwiches. And they're silly because they're made of things that we wouldn't normally make a sandwich out of. So if you could grab a paper, pencil, eraser, markers, crayons, colored pencils, whatever you have to add some color, I'll explain to you how we're going to work on that this week. Okay, so now you can get a little bit closer view of my silly sandwich, and you can see my silly sandwich is made of all kinds of things that you would have at Dairy Queen or an ice cream sundae bar. Clearly I was thinking about ice cream. I have ice cream cones, different kinds of popsicles, like a Chipwich, a Cho-Cho. I have bananas and strawberries, M&Ms, marshmallows, cherries, cookies, all kinds of things you would put with ice cream one way or another. What you're going to do is decide what type of food you want to use. I'd pick some sort of a category, some sort of broad theme. Like I chose ice cream. Maybe you want to choose picnic food or Mexican food or Italian food. Pick some sort of category of food that kind of narrows down a little bit what type of food you're looking at. So then you can concentrate on the shapes of the food to fit inside your sandwich. And again, these are all things that we wouldn't normally be making sandwiches out of. So things like hot dogs and hamburgers and baked beans and corn on the cob, we could somehow make fit into a sandwich. I just chose ice cream, so that's what I'm going to show you how to do today, but you don't have to do exactly what I'm doing. Think of your own theme, and I'm sure you can come up with a ton of different food that you can use for that too. So the way I started is I drew the top and the bottom of my sandwich first. Decided what food I was going to use, which in this case is cookies. So down at the bottom here, and I'm drawing in pencil. I drew that bottom cookie. Then I left a bunch of space here in the middle and went up for the top of my sandwich, or the top cookie. And remember, at any point, if I'm getting a little bit ahead of you, just stop the video, draw what you need to draw, and then come back and start the video again. I know it's not quite the same as how we would do it in the art room, but we have to use the best that we can right now. Okay, so now I have the top and the bottom. I can go back and add the sprinkles later that I had in mind. Then think about what you want in your sandwich. Depending on what type of food you have, you might have all kinds of flat things that you might just be drawing this way. Because I have the ice cream, I have lots of things that go vertical or up and down like an ice cream cone. So I'm going to kind of spread those out, and I'm going to start by drawing the outsides of my sandwich parts first. So that would be the ice cream cones. And because I have them on both sides, I want them to be fairly similar in size and shape. They don't have to be exact, but pretty close. Then I can add my big scoops of ice cream here. On both sides, I'll draw that ice cream. And I'm gonna just sketch the basic shape of everything out, and then I'll go back and add the little details to make it really clear what food is what. But you want to get the basic shape before you add all the details. So in case you have to move something or rearrange it, you're not erasing a ton of work. You're just erasing some basic shapes. So once I have the ice cream, I'm going to add my popsicle here, like a fudge-sicle type popsicle. So draw that popsicle stick. And actually, didn't leave a whole lot of room to make this a thick popsicle, so I need to move it over a little bit. Draw that Chipwich. Then I'm going to go back down here and draw the banana. Now I'm not going to worry too much about drawing the strawberries and the cherries right now. I want to get the bulk of the big items in, and then you can plug those small things like the cherries and the M&Ms in at the spots that are open once you have the big stuff drawn. So you're working kind of from the outside in and big stuff to small stuff. Draw that Cho-Cho, which kind of fits right here. Like I said, you don't have to do ice cream, and if you do decide to do ice cream, it doesn't have to be exactly like mine. I'd love to see what you come up with. Maybe you think of some different things for ice cream sundaes that I didn't think of, or different kinds of ice cream. This is all about having fun and being a little bit silly with this art project. Draw that last popsicle that kind of fits, whoops, in here. So you're kind of just fitting almost parts of a puzzle together, but you get to decide what pieces of the puzzle you're fitting together. So there's one more popsicle. You know what? I think I'm going to make that one of those bomb pops this time. So I want to draw this. I'm just going to draw some quick stripes. Then, so now I have the big stuff pretty much drawn. I can go back in and add my small stuff. Start adding the marshmallows, the M&Ms, all of those little things. Or this, whatever the smaller foods of what you chose to use would be. Now you can, for the marshmallows and for this Cho-Cho here, you can see I'm making it look like a sphere. So I draw the two sides, a curved bottom, and then for the top, it's almost like an oval, and the ends of the oval touch the sides of the marshmallow and the Cho-Cho cup here. And that's gonna help it look a little more three-dimensional and make it look a little more realistic too for you. Now, these aren't gonna look super realistic because we wouldn't be making a sandwich like this, but we want to make it look a little bit realistic. Okay, so you can go back then and add the other little stuff in here. Next step I did was take a thin Sharpie or a thin marker, a black pen, a black colored pencil, something thin with a black point. This is going to make it a little more cartoony, a little more animated. And all you're going to do is just outline everything. Trace over all those pencil lines with that black marker. So just trace everything. Even the little spots, like the stripes on the straw, every little line, trace with the Sharpie. The more you can trace with this, the more cartoony, the more animated it's gonna look. So I just traced part of mine with the Sharpie a while. You can see I still have some pencil lines sticking out. So just like we would do at school, go back, erase those pencil lines. And once you have the pencil lines erased, what you can do then is start coloring. Now, you can really add color with anything you want to use, anything you have. If you want to use crayons, if you want to use markers, colored pencils, you can even use paint for some of it if you'd like to. Whatever you have on hand, whatever you want to use is fine. You can do a little bit of a couple different things, however you want to color it. Just make sure that you are coloring the bulk of it in, because we really want these to be nice and bright and colorful. And just have fun with it. The foods don't all have to be exactly the colors that they would normally be if they were in your kitchen. Just have some fun with it. So like I said, have fun with this project. Narrow down the types of food that you want to use to barbecue food, ice cream, Italian food, whatever it might be, so that you don't have such a wide variety of things to pick from. And that'll be a lot easier than to plug in different shapes of things to really make your sandwich full. You really do want to try and fill it up as much as you can. Don't leave a whole lot of white spots. Some white spots are fine, but you don't want to leave big white spaces. Have fun with this. If you can, email me a picture of your project. I'd love to see these. They're a lot of fun. Have fun with it. Just have a great week, and I'll see you next week with a new project.